You can literally 3x your sign up rates as a app or SaaS founder, but you have to understand that you have to really play around with the UX, very well enough. And most of the founders actually, they just don't really understand the reality in the usage of UX as much. But UX is actually completely different by just inherent UI designs, but it's based upon usability, and you have to give the users a reason to sign up. Most of the times, most of the app and SaaS leak users before even providing any kind of value, and that is the reason why the users would just leave the app. If your signups flow suck, retention or onboarding can save you. The biggest growth lever isn't another feature; it's making more users actually start using your product. So overall, you have to kind of create this level of value proposition after the onboarding. You have to really understand their expectation to fulfillment ratios, and no matter the feature, like literally, you can build the next AI, but unless and until you have really configured and understood the value propositions, what exactly the users want, and which kind of emotions to have the user think about or feel like, you will never really increase your signups. There has to be some kind of proposition for the users to wait. They will just give or take. They will just start the give or take relationship. They will put their name, they will put their sign up, etc., email, etc., and then they will see the dashboard for your app or SaaS. There has to be some level of trust. So user experience is absolutely important. Now, first of all, let's just discuss about the brutal truth, the brutal mistakes, killing your signups. Too many fields too early. You ask a lot of details. Never ever ask for a lot of details right in the beginning, unless and until you are some big level guy. Like unless and until you are some president of the some Pluto or Mars kind of planets. Don't ask for all of the details right initially. That's equal to death. Just create that trust initially. Just create that trust and pitch the problem that they have, and then ask for these informations. And it's just very necessary. You just have to really understand this thing, and no trust or proof. Yes, you don't have any proof of why exactly your app will solve their problems, or why they should use it, or why this SaaS for like B2B companies, or SaaS for users, or this software for like social media analysis, any kind of that stuff. You don't have any proof that it will work. So you have to understand that either you fill things with your testimonials, if you have, either you fill things with testimonials, or you fill with some signals that this might really, really enable, the user to actually fulfill their inherent needs, what exactly you are kind of pitching the user for. So in simple languages, either you have a valid app or SaaS, so that is like upwards of 10,000 downloads in apps, or SaaS having good user base and good LinkedIn pages, good websites, etc. Everything is made up, and you have good marketing campaigns running up. Until you have that, you have to really understand and really uh, go to the creative side. So you have to play around with emotions. You have to literally pitch the pain, and then you have to pitch the product later on. So you have to like kind of trigger the pain, and then you have to pitch the product. That is one of your leverages to kind of build that trust, or reason to go forward. So unless until you have no proof, you have to kind of play around with the necessity, so the users feel like, okay, they don't have any proof or credibility, but it's just so necessary to use the app or SaaS. So that is how you increase the signups, and generic copy creator account. It's just so common. Instead of creating your account, be like, have a page of probably, if you have an AI chatbot, like for example any kind of mental health AI chatbot, and you know that your inherent main feature is actually chatting with the AI, or chatting with real human beings about your mental health issues, that kind of stuff. For example, any real human being, you ask for their name. Simple as that. That is, ask for their name. If you have any health tech kind of app, ask for their name first in the beginning, and this and that, etc., etc. Then you can just have any screen with a couple of their pain, etc., or your about your product, and on the bottom you have this, like just Sophia, how are you doing, write a message. Okay, once they do, sign up. So that is level of, a level of cliffhanger. So that is what a copy generally will improve your case. And mobile experience, if your mobile is broken or slow, 50% of your audience is just gone. And you just have to, first of all, at your end at least, you just have to create the deployment. So this is like from the development side, have the deployment smooth enough, don't really break. Don't really be slow. Just be smooth at from the set, from that end, and from the user experience end. Just have the transitions fluid. So you have some level of transitions. You have the transitions of between the screens, instant transitions, and you have transitions of smooth animation based transitions like Smart Animate for Figma users. So you have to kind of play around with that. In the onboarding, it's much better to stimulate something. If you feel like, okay, the onboarding is kind of still vague, the users might not really feel worth it to use the like to fulfill that. Just have the animation kind of transitions for that, so that will always improve your signups. And no momentum, if users can't feel they're moving forward, they bounce. So have the animation kind of stuff, and like have a process bar, like progress bar. That is very important. Have this progress bars. Change the gradient of the colors to something more deeper or lighter. Some change in entropy of the colors, or gradient colors, or text colors, or emotional colors. And what actually works? So progressive disclosure. First of all, ask their information, etc. Just slowly ramp up, get their name, etc. And then start with the email. Like start with just email, ask the rest. Okay. So get their information, and then you have this deep, information that you have to ask, email, etc. Get them, and after that, ask for something more. So when you have the email, etc., then you ask for their weight, this and that. All right, so you have to understand that prepositions. Unless and until you have, now this line is very important for you to understand and differentiate for your cases. If you have an app or SaaS where the users would not want to give their email, generally with apps, B2C apps, then you would want to customize the app before asking the email. So that is the difference you have to understand. And benefit first copy, start managing your app. I'm like, this is the copy, apart from the create account, just have a good enough copy. Honestly, just have a good enough copy, not coffee. Just have a reason. Like, this is the reasons. So I was talking this with this founder, and he had this on a beta. He is developing his app on beta, and he have around 55-60 users in the beta. He's just starting out, and his app is about AI traveling kind of stuff. And the first moment I saw that, all I thought was that this is just an AI app or AI software SaaS, because the brand color was black. Nothing about traveling. Traveling is inherently green. So this is what you have to understand. You have couple of elements in your screens and your like overall screen. Generally in your screens, first of all is color, then you have text or the copy. So you have to play around with things. If you're leveraging AI as just a trend word, or like if it is a genuine feature, you have to also understand that it should not feel like a complete SaaS or like a complete software, high tech software, like something like Cloudflare. You know, you have to understand that if it's like traveling or B2C such kind of apps, then you have to add greenery in it, like genuinely greenery. So, copy about information, like start managing your day. It's heavier than probably AI. I mean, like, this is 50-50. That is the point. You added 4 words to equate the heaviness with AI, because AI is extremely heavy. So even improving this exact screen, what you can do is that, like this is for example free to paid or such kind of stuff. Like if this is a copy of your app, just have like start managing your daily tasks with AI, as simple as that. So that gives the users much more perception and visuals of, okay, what are we doing and why exactly AI would help you. And one testimonial in your CTA, whatever you sign up, etc., just sign up. Or if you have any kind of trust elements, like if you're VC backed a lot of app or SaaS founders who are VC backed, they literally leverage this thing a lot. So and if you're in Europe, then you have GDPR. And if your user base generally in Europe, then you have to like literally put the GDPR. That's like also, I guess, illegal. That's necessary to put in, or just have this thing in mind. So social signups forms. So to click signups, zero typing, instant trust via Google, Apple. Just understand now. A lot of things are actually repeating, but you have to just understand. If you don't understand this exact thing, just understand that sign up. If you have to have the sign up, first of all, have the options of duality with Google or Apple. If you have to have the sign up, whatever the sign up page would be, first of all create the value, etc., get their name, etc., from your visuals, get their name, etc., create the like sign up, etc., and have the option of instant sign up with Google or Apple, that kind of stuff. That's like with one clicks, and have your information on top. So that kind of stuff, that's very very basic. But you just have to understand that also, if you are having a lot of screens in before that, or you know that the users are not feeling that emotional enough, so you haven't really got much about the information. Like if they are putting their weight before, then they're much more comfortable putting a lot of different information. But if you're not asking about weight and that kind of stuff, you're not customizing the app before that, then you could probably focus a lot on the Google or Apple kind of sign up pages. And Visual Momento just have a good enough screens, like literally just have a good enough UI. And this is some data and some sources, but you have to understand that CTA really improves your conversions. And just don't have a long form information about these things, just one line informations, like just one simple line, etc., and have something going on. So this exact screen is having two main UX principles that we use for our clients. First of all is PIP, pain information product, extremely necessary stuff, extremely high leverage. No one is using it, and it's just like literally printing cash, like literally having extreme signups, 90-100% signups. And then you have processes, like at the bottom we have processes. Okay, so these are like some high concept stuff, but yeah, imagineerx.com. But yeah, so any kind of real examples. So this is one of the productivity tools we're working on, and of course we cannot share the necessary information about it, but just take from the reference from the UX. So old flow had multiple onboardings, and this was a redesign. So old flow had multiple onboardings. We had, you know, they had a lot of big onboarding, no really trust. The flow and the tech deployment side was a little bit broken, and the deployment of the designs on multiple mobile dimensions were a little bit broken. So it was not really full. Things were not good enough, from the onboarding. So and it was just, there was no value propositions. Everything was out of the blue. You just had sign up, no Apple or Google based signups. And what we do is that we just focused on three multiple steps, which was a pain, but at the same time get some information, get some information, product, get some information, and whatever etc use cases and etc stuff we had to had after the sign up, we put that. And AI for tasks stuff. We improved the copy, we improved the layout, and added some testimonials, because the users would really want the testimonials in that exact case. And there was for SaaS as well. And the results you can see, like genuinely. So on an average, if you have around 40% signups, that can really leverage to 60-70% signups out of the blue, but just by fixing these things. So these things at our end just takes a couple of minutes, but that can really be improved. And a lot of retention, like retention is actually important. So if you're watching this as of now, if you are, probably, because I don't know if someone is watching in the future or whatever, retention is the most important metric for any app or SaaS growth. Understand this again. Retention is one of the most important, with a couple of different metrics, which I will not tell as of now, but just focus on retention. Retention is just the key. Retention, just simple as that. Retention. All right. And so this is some KPIs in any business, product or service, any kind of businesses or any kind of app or SaaS. Like you have a business at the end, your product. For that growth, you have to understand that you have, first of all, you get some initial validation. There's a lot of rant about it. You just push the MVP and get some validation. It's weird. You can get validation in just a couple of minutes, honestly. But after you have some validation, etc., this kind of stuff, etc., you have some initial user base, users, maybe like some tens of users, hundreds of users, or probably thousands of users. Then you focus on the KPIs. What is your CAC for your multiple app or SaaS? What exactly? If you have a B2C app on Play Store or iOS, then your CAC is just extremely low, and the CAC, or the client acquisition cost, or the user acquisition cost, will be based upon the ad or marketing campaigns you're running. But apart from that, if it's completely inorganic, you will have literally very low CAC, and LTV has to be extremely high. So at least at the minimum, have 3 times more than CAC, like literally. So users, if you are running your campaigns about your SaaS, for if you're spending maybe $500 or $1,000 to acquire one big corporate for your software, you know then and you have free trials for that, you have to understand that your conversion has to be higher, so to accommodate by the CAC, and you have to have the LTV, or the lifetime value, or the lifetime gross profit by the users converting to the paid trial. So you have to understand that the number of the users come in, you just have to get at least enough users to the conversion to pay off for the client acquisition cost. But at the same time, because you want your LTV to be 3 to 5 times more than your CAC at the minimum, then the rest of amount is your profit for other costs. So you have to understand this thing. It's very important. And retention and sector details, conversion, churn, really have a low churn. UX is absolutely necessary for churn. And there's some other details here and there. Faster signups, absolutely trusted, Google or Apple based, and just get some information initially. Or if you have a bigger firm, just split it into multiple categories, get their weight first, get their this and that first, this, and if you want to actually if you want to find your sign up leaks, etc., you can use these features. But if you're very good at UX, you will probably not have any leakages, or you can assume where the leakages would be. Like, we generally literally assume a lot of leakages, and that ends up being true from the Figma workflows or the workflow like inherent software that we use. But from your case, you can use that, and this is where it is. So if you want a free UX audit for your app or SaaS, then just contact. We'll get it done. We'll analyze your complete app or SaaS. But apart from that, thank you for watching.